Directions for turnovers. Start with some pastry crust. I've already cut this one in half. So I'll put some flour, sprinkle some on my workspace here. I'm working on wax paper again, guys, just so that I don't have my pie crust sticking to the counter. I'll set a little pile of flour over there in case I need it. And then I'm just gonna roll this out. And now today I'm not as concerned with rolling it into a circle. A rectangle is fine, because I'm gonna cut my turnover into a couple different squares and rectangles. So I wanna roll it out fairly thin, and you wanna get at least 2 turnovers out of each half so that you have one for everyone. You might, depending on how you roll it out and how you cut it, you might get more than that. And it's called a turnover because we're literally just gonna fold the dough in half, turn it over. But if you happen to mess up, we can always make like a bottom and a top, kind of like a pie, and smush it all around the sides. Also, guys, please remember, turnover pastry is not like cookie dough. You know how cookie dough you can cut out your shapes and you can smush the dough back together, re-roll it out? This does not work. This kind of remembers everything you've done to it. Roll just a little bit. Quiet over there, boys. Might roll a little bit more this way. So like I said, ideally you want to get 2 from each half, and then you can use the scraps to kind of make more. So I'm just going to kind of cut this into a couple of squares here. Might roll out a little bit more there. So 5 by 5 inch squares, like I said, is ideal. Once your squares are cut, you can fill them. Notice I'm leaving a 1/2 inch margin around the outside, and I'm only placing the filling on half of the turnover. That will allow me to get a good seal and prevent blowouts and burning from the blowouts. Once you have the right amount of filling, you will dip your finger in water. Just have a little custard cup to the side with some water, and then trace along the outside edge of the entire turnover. Sorry, well, I was saying that. I dipped my finger in the water and I just traced around the outside of my turnover. I'm gonna fold this in half and then press the edges. Okay, so that's the turnover part. And then I'm gonna take a fork, dip the fork in flour, and then I'm gonna do some crimping, some decorative crimping to my edges.
Looks so cool. Low-key looks like a hot pocket.
It kind of does look like a hot pocket, or a toaster strudel, right? Now listen, you don't have to do this side. If you put, you don't want to put too much filling in, guys, because it could, like, kind of like, you could have a little blowout. It'll come out the sides, and then your filling will burn, and so will your pastry. And you also need to make some type of hole. So you could just take your fork and make little pricks in the top, like this. You could use your knife and cut out decorative shapes. Because of that liquid in the pie filling, you need a spot for the steam to escape, or you'll get another blowout from your stuff.